Good afternoon, welcome to the SlowFood London demonstration cooking and talk test that's part of Festival. Now we've got something really quite exciting. We've got Marcus Patchett. He's a medical herbalist, which may sound a bit boring, but his talk is going to be really interesting because he's going to confirm something I have always known to be instinctively true, and that is the fact that chocolate is actually good for you. Now, we're not talking about Cadbury's or stuff like that. Marcus will be giving us the lowdown. He'll be telling us some very interesting stuff, and afterwards we're going to be trying some of these delicious looking samples. Thank you. Over to Marcus.
Thank you very much. Microphone, it's a bit scary. Right, forgive me if I say a lot for the first 5 minutes. It's been ages since I've done a talk of any kind, so... okay. I'll start off just by saying what interested me in chocolate, apart from the fact it tastes nice and I like it. Personal observation, obviously every time I eat dark chocolate, my mood improves. I like that. Also, just from chatting to a couple of patients, a lady with Parkinson's disease told me a few years ago that whenever she had dark chocolate, she noticed her symptoms improved. Temporarily, a little bit. Consistent effect. Thought that was very interesting. And something which has been commonly observed, that a lot of ladies who get PMS, particularly mood swings, start craving chocolate. Usually any kind of sweet things, but very often dark chocolate is something that's particularly craved, which again is quite interesting. So I'll just start off with a bit of history about where chocolate comes from. The main ingredient in chocolate is the cacao seed, the bean from the cacao tree. It's sometimes called cocoa now, but that's the original name of it was cacao. And you see the tree here, the pods just grow straight out of the trunk, which is quite unusual. I don't know if I've got a cross-section of the pods or anything to show you. Yeah, here we go. You see, that's a cross-section of them. All the seeds are inside there. That's in the raw state. They're surrounded by a sticky fruit, sticky mucilage, which they think when people originally started cultivating the tree in Central America about 3,000 years ago, they were after the fruit initially. They didn't realise that the seeds were usable. And then at some point, some bright spark decided that the seeds were actually more interesting and had more potential. And they think this is because they probably left a big pile of the fruit and the seeds for a few days, and all the fruit started to ferment, and all the acids from the fermenting fruit seeped through into the beans, and the heat from the fermentation caused all these chemical changes which changed the flavour of the seeds. And this is still how they prepare the beans to prepare chocolate today. They'll heap all the seeds up with all the fruit on them, and as the fermentation gets underway, the flavours will change in the seed. Right, okay, so, and then obviously at some point somebody ate one of the seeds or used them in a beverage. It's unclear how somebody who thought, first of all, of grinding these seeds up, mixing them with water and then drinking them. I mean, it's slightly mad, but somebody obviously did that at some point and discovered that it had quite a nice effect. So a mood-raising, stimulating effect. Alright, so the traditional method of preparation was really designed to maximise the beneficial mood-raising, stimulating effects of it, and the other medicinal effects, which I'll be banging on about in a minute. So the traditional process, as I say, was to pile all the seeds up, ferment them, that developed the flavour, caused chemical changes, peel them, leave them out in the sun to dry, and then they'd be ground on a sort of stone mortar and pestle. This is from Central America. A sort of modern example of a very old piece of equipment. As I said, cacao originated from Central America, sort of modern Mexico really. And what they used to do for the very first incarnation of chocolate, they ground the seeds on this, added lots of spices like vanilla and chili, both of which also come from Central America. That's a vanilla vine. These are the vanilla pods in their pre-fermented state. To make them into vanilla, they actually sort of dry them out and ferment them, and that's what creates the characteristic vanilla smell. And we've got, hopefully if my computer will work, yeah, here we go, chili. So both of those were original chocolate spices, and now I've started noticing, and they've started putting chili in commercial chocolate like it's a new thing, an exciting new flavour. Well, they were doing this 3,000 years ago, so not that new. And then this is another plant which was used as a source of a spice for traditional chocolate, still is in parts of Mexico today. It's called, in modern Mexico, in Mexican Spanish, Rosita de Cacao. Its botanical name is Coarabia, and they use the flower, and it's got a really beautiful sort of vanilla-y fragrance, but really sort of perfumed and intense. And they found, there's not a lot of information on it scientifically speaking, but they found it was used in traditional prescriptions for pain and also for certain forms of mental illness, so there's probably some interesting stuff going on with the chemistry of that one. So they were the seeds after they'd been sun-dried, and would sometimes have been toasted, sometimes have been left raw, then ground to a paste with all these other spices and mixed with water to make a drink. And I've got some slides of a traditional sort of method of preparing these cacao drinks to show you now. It's still done in Oaxaca in central Mexico today. The sort of famous beverage of Oaxaca is called tejate, which is made using cacao beans, the flowers of this tree, Coarabia, and some other ingredients which I'll show you. Right, this is Crispina Navarro Gomez, this fantastic lady who makes tejate with her family every day. The process takes about 3 hours, involves about 3 people, and a lot of manual labour. And all the ladies of the house do the work, and the bloke just sort of sits around painting, which is nice for him really, but a little bit harsh. But anyway, she's about to, the base of this drink is corn with all the chocolate stuff added to it. It's kind of like a meal in one, like a one meal shake type thing. And the corn obviously provides a few vitamins and carbohydrate and a bit of energy. So she's boiling the corn up in a big bucket of wood ash there. And after boiling the corn up with a few really fatty seeds, they're like little mini coconuts called guayacules, which will add fat to the drink and a bit of extra flavour and body. She's boiled all those up, then she sieves them here, washes all the wood ash off the corn and off the boiled up fatty seeds. Now she's toasting the cacao. This is the cacao which has been fermented and sun-dried and shelled. And the traditional method of toasting, as you can see here, was very slow, very gentle. A low fire, a big clay dish which will diffuse the heat, and it's just done for 5 to 10 minutes, just very gently. That sort of develops the flavours and also prevents, as in modern chocolate manufacture, they use quite high temperatures. They roast all the seeds in big ovens, which develops more intense flavour, but it does destroy a lot of the chemical benefits of the seed. There's still a lot of benefits left, as I'll talk about, but it does destroy a lot. Here she's just, one of the ladies is smashing up a seed which contains lots of saponins, which are natural substances that are emulsifiers. They'll help the fats in the drink blend in so that it's palatable. Toasting the Coarabia flowers, the flowers are toasted too. Smashing up these little fatty seeds that she's toasted, and then blending the fatty seeds with the flowers. And she grinds the cocoa beans in. This is about 2 hours in now. That doesn't look particularly palatable, I have to say, but that smelled gorgeous. That's like all the cocoa, the fatty seeds, the aromatic flowers, and that's the heart of the drink. If you ate some of that, you'd probably feel quite happy. Then grinding up the maize, and me having an attempt at grinding the maize, very poor, bad technique, didn't do a very good job. They're all laughing at me at this point. And then starts mixing all the ingredients together with a bit of water. This is a slow process done by hand, gradually mixing it all together, and that's the finished product. Again, doesn't look particularly appetizing, looks rather like a bowl of dirty washing up liquid. It does, however, taste quite nice. Most of the elderly people in the area still drink it, not so many of the younger generation. It's sort of a traditional drink. Most of those would prefer, your sort of chocolate milk or something else, but it tastes quite savoury, a bit nutty. You can have it sweetened, but a lot of people prefer to not have it sweetened, and it's very refreshing. Like when you have it, about half an hour later, you feel a bit happier, a bit more relaxed.